today's a pretty big day on the farm. Today is actually going to be our very first harvest because this coming Saturday we'll be at our very first farmers market. And the farmers market we'll be at is Cherry Creek Farmers Market, which is in Denver here locally. It's I guess one of the oldest farmers markets in Denver. I think they've been going on for about 20 years. And so it should be exciting. And so today we're going to harvest. We're going to want to show you guys how we harvest and what that looks like. And first, I just want to show you what we'll be harvesting. And so let's go and take a look at the garden. And so we're going to be harvesting this stuff here. This is a mustard. It's called Scarlet Frills. And then behind it, over there in the back, is another mustard. That's a Red Giant. We'll be harvesting that. And this bed kind of got ruined by weeds. We're having some germination problems. These two beds were the first two beds I planted, and learning curves, all I can say. And we'll be harvesting these three rows here. That's a red Russian kale. And then that leads into some tatsoi, which is an Asian spinach behind it. We'll harvest that. We'll harvest this stuff, this beautiful purple leafy lettuce here. This is called Miz, M-I-Z, America. And it's quite similar to this, which is Mizuna. It's a little bit more spicy, but quite similar. And then behind the Miz America is more red Russian kale, and then behind the Mizuna is more red Russian kale, so we'll be harvesting that. These are beets. I'm sorry, these are radish, not beets. We might be doing a thin harvest on these, and the thin harvest means we just take the ones that are mature because they're growing at different rates, and that happens with the first harvest, and usually the beginning and the tail end of the season that happens, from what I've read anyway. And over here we have more tatsoi. This whole bed is tatsoi. Depending on how much we get from over here, we might take a little or leave a little for next week. This is more Scarlet Frills mustard. We'll see. We might take a little bit. I'm not sure yet. And then this far bed over here on the end, this is arugula. We'll definitely be taking some arugula with us. And that's pretty much it. So there's a few things that we're going to need for our harvest, and I just want to talk to you about them real quick. The first one here, which you're probably wondering about, is this green piece of equipment called the Greens Harvester. And what that does is essentially it takes what would take 2 people 8 hours to do, and it whittles that down to about 1 hour for one person. And we're going to be trying it out for the first time today. And there's a little blade down here where my finger is, and it just goes back and forth. And it's powered by the drill. This drill, it goes in to the drive shaft here, and then which also turns these, and these just rotate and they kick the greens back into the basket. And yeah, it just saves immense amounts of time and labor. And the next thing we're going to need is a scale, and we zeroed that to our totes, and we're gonna use the totes to fill. We're gonna use the totes to put our greens in, and then we'll put those in the cooler. And the last thing we're gonna need is a market sheet, and this is just to keep track of everything you're harvesting, how many feet you harvested, and how much it weighed, and then there's a section for notes. And so that's about it. We're going to start harvesting here shortly, and we'll see how it goes. All right, well, our first harvest is completed, and it ended up being a lot more than I thought, which I guess is a good problem to have. And looking at the market over here, market sheet, I'll tell you guys what we yielded. The giant red mustard, we harvested a little under 25 feet, and that was 9 pounds. We did tatsoi. It was like 11 pounds for 25 feet. Maybe I won't read all of these, but ultimately we ended up getting like 80 pounds of greens, which is great. The only problem we had, which I anticipated, were they were bigger than I wanted them to be. And that was because we delayed harvesting because we got a terrible hailstorm last week and it did some damage. It knocked the plants down, so I wanted to give them time to recover. I would have harvested the week before or last week. They would have been a little smaller and better for salad mix. So that's something we're going to have to deal with. Some of them will be fine in salad mix, and some of them we might just sell on their own in bigger form, I guess. And what else? We also harvested a little over 16 pounds of radish, which will be nice to mix in with the salad. And I'll go over and show you what it looks like after we're done harvesting. All right, so you can see here, this is the mustard, and we cut it down pretty well. And you want to get it, we actually had to come back here and cut it down a second time, and just to get all of the residue off, because you can get probably 2 to 3 cuttings, so new growth will come back. So it was really tall, so we took off like the top third, and then we had to take off the second third to get down here so it could regrow. You can see this is red giant mustard that we left. We're just going to take it for ourselves. We got a lot here. This wheelbarrow is full of residue that we just had to come back with the greens harvester and take off. So this is just, unfortunately, stuff we can't use. We need to get some chickens, is the moral of this story. Here's some tatsoi, and there's still some tatsoi in there. We'll probably just take for ourselves. This is red Russian kale. Again, the red Russian kale got a little bit too big, and it's also planted in rows of 3. It should be planted in rows of 9, but we'll do that next time. And coming down here, this one's very interesting looking. This is the Mizuna, and it was very thick. Like most of this wheelbarrow over there is full of the second cutting. It just got very long and leggy. And people want to eat the leaves, not the legs or the stems. Leg is another word for stems. And this is the Ms. America, and we could come through here again maybe. There's just a little bit here we can trim off. This stuff down here is a good length for regrowth, as far as I know. And let's walk around here. I'll show you guys the arugula. We had quite a bit of arugula, and I kind of just spot cutted it, if that's a word. And just the really big ones, or the bigger ones I wanted to get out of there. And I should come back and clean it up. And I did leave some on there for next week. And there's our trusty greens harvester here. Did a great job. Would have taken hours without this thing. Alright, so after we harvest everything, we weigh it, and we have it in the totes, and then we take the totes to our walk-in cooler, and I just want to show you guys this. You can see inside. Here's our totes. So they're all labeled. Those are all full of vegetables. And I got our CoolBot. Right now we got it says around 34 degrees, which is great. So I guess that's it. I'm very happy with our first harvest. Um, Again, we got way more than I thought we would, which is great. You can't complain about that. And hopefully we sell it. That's the ultimate goal. And I'll let you guys know how we do at our first market, which is in a few days. And oh, by the way, we harvested today, which is Wednesday, 2 days before market, because there's bad weather coming. Wouldn't you know it, another snowstorm. It's almost June, but I guess that's what happens when you farm in Colorado. So we typically would like to actually, we'd like to harvest on Thursday. So we're only 1 day off. Harvest on Thursday, process and pack on Friday, market on Saturday. So 1 day early is not the end of the world. You know, vegetables will be fine. And we'll let you know how our first market goes. And we'll see you guys next time.